Good evening and welcome back, and I guess healthy winter and a easy I'm going to go over a little bit what we finished in the last sheet, because this is a continuation. It's a different subject, but we have to know a little bit what we spoke last year, so I'm going to just review a drop what we spoke. We spoke that basically we cannot eat meat, milk after meat. And there's two reasons why. One reason is because we have a pasuk, which the pasuk tells us that even a few hours after eating meat, it's still considered meat. So therefore, if you're going to eat meat, and 3 hours later you're going to eat milk, and you still have pieces, remnants of the meat in your mouth, and you drink milk or you eat cheese, so basically it is basically getting a taste of milk and meat. And Chazal were very machmer when it comes to milk and bosser b'cholav. So that's one reason. Again, because there's remnants, until 6 hours, it's still considered bosser, it's still considered meat. After 6 hours, it's considered junk, waste. The other reason is, which is Shittis Rasha, which says that meat has a taste for a long time. So till 6 hours, there's the fat of the meat still gives out a taste, and therefore the same reason as we said before, you might think that it's okay to eat milk and meat because you feel the taste of both. So people will start eating also milk and meat. So therefore Chazal says whenever there's still a taste in your mouth, it's also to eat. So again, according to the Rambam, because you have remnants of pieces of meat, so let's say if a person cleans the mouth 100%, we have no issue. According to Rashi, even if you don't find any remnants, but it says the fat automatically gives out a taste, and that's usher. That's why we don't eat anything after meat 6 hours. When it comes to eating meat after milk, the Gemara says you don't have to wait anything, no time. What you need to do, wash out your mouth and eat something. That means kenir vadocha. It's not enough you drink something, you have to eat also something in between. It's like between fish and meat, you eat a piece of challah and you drink something. Grape juice or something, because you need to have both. The challah or the solid food should make sure takes in all the remnants which stays, and you drink, that's called knir vadocha. So mitzad halacha, mitzad gemara, a person ate a milchige suda, he washes his mouth fine, cleans his mouth, he could eat right away a fleshige suda. But that's Misad Gemara.
Yeah, I have a question. If Rambam says it's just because there is shariot, and Rashi said that, in the time of the Rambam, what did they do?
The camp of Rambam hold 6 hours because his reason, the Talmidim of Rashi hold according to their Rebbe.
Wait, but according to Rambam, if he washes his mouth, then careful.
But the Rambam said that basically, since we are afraid that it will stay a piece of meat, even if you try to clean it, but we are afraid you might have some remnants of meat, so therefore we made a cloud 6 hours. So it's only a change in reason. It's not a change in halacha. Both hold you have to wait 6 hours. It is only what's the reason about it. So that's the chilik. What's the reason about it? So according to Rashi, the reason is basically it gives out a taste. According to the Rambam, because we are afraid that you'll find some remnants, and that the remnants give out the taste, not the fat get out of the taste. That's the machlokas. Now, whenever there was a chilik in halacha, then it was always like that camp did like their Rebbe, and that camp the Bashama did according to the Bashamai, according to Shammai, Hill according to Hill. That's always the saklulis dige halacha in Bechlal Chazal. How did you do? Yeah, same question. Rasha Rabbanim Tam. Which tefillin did you use? Now the camp of Rasha, Tamid of Rasha, put on Rashi tefillin, Talmidim Ramani Tam, put on Ramani Tam tefillin. We do both. We do both. Okay, so Akaponim, that's the reason why we wait after meat for milchiks. But again, when after milchiks, you could right away eat mitzadik chazal, you could right away eat fleishiks. But then came the Rishonim and said, no, Bikid Zoyer, and the Zoyer said that you have to wait even after milchiks, misuda lesuda. So, or kashu, the Lashon is, so the Zohar is kashu, and the whole world, as I mentioned last time, waits a half an hour between after milchiks to eat fleishiks, a half an hour is enough. We go according to literally what the Zohar says. The Zohar says you have to wait a shu, 1 hour, a shu means an hour, and therefore we wait an hour. So again, the whole world are not Michael like the Chazal that you could eat right away. You wait a half an hour, or by us you wait an hour, or some other chassidim too, and you wait an hour, and then you could eat fleishiks. That's after milk. Now I want to go one step further. What is a very important halacha, which is very negaya? What is, how long do you need to wait after hard cheese? Hard cheese, what is the halacha? Now, be'etzem, b'pashtos, is no different hard cheese or soft cheese. It's the same thing. After cheese, you wash your mouth, and according to Chazal, you don't wait anything. According to the Zohar and according to what the halacha, which we accept, is 1 hour. And it's no different of hard or soft. But the Maram Rottenberg was asked. He was waiting 6 hours. 6 hours after milchiks. He was waiting to eat fleishiks. After he was waiting, and he was waiting only by red meat, but not by oif. That was the Maram Rotman's minik. He was waiting again after cheese. He was waiting 6 hours, the same as after like milk after meat. He was waiting 6 hours after milchiks. If he ate before red meat, if he ate chicken, he was Michael. So somebody asked him, "Why is it? Why are you have this minik? What's your minik?" So the Rambam says like this: when I was a child, when I was young, I saw also people on machmer not to eat after milchiks 6 hours, and I laughed of them, and I was laughing of them. Well, what kind of way? You can look at Chazal. There's no such thing. You don't need to wait. Then the Rabbanu Shloim sent me that once I finished eating milchiks, and I started eating fleishiks, and I found a piece of cheese in my mouth. And then I realized, don't make fun of people who have chimras. And from then on, I made a Kabbalah on myself. I'm not going to eat after milchiks 6 hours till I'm going to wait 6 hours after milchiks till I'm going to eat fleishiks. That's basically the Maram Rotmek what she answers and says, but I'm only doing it on red meat because red meat is adaraisa. As I remember the first shir what we spoke, that chicken is only an addition of Chazal. So therefore I didn't more machma. This chimra what I made that you have to wait 6 hours is only by red meat and not by chicken. This is what the Maram Rotmek writes. But then comes the Remu, which is our poisek, the Remu which is the poisek of Gans Ashkenaz, and he writes, the minig is to wait like Maram Rottenberg. We don't take it to extreme like the Maram Rottenberg did it. That means after every milchiks, I will wait 6 hours, but we do it only after hard cheese. Only after hard cheese we're going to do it. And I'm going to say a minute why. It's based on Isra Heter, which is a little bit before, also Ashkenaz, it was a little bit before the Remu, which Isra Heter says that we take upon ourselves the minig of the Maram Rottenberg to wait after cheese till eating meat 6 hours, but only hard cheese, when it's hard. Only, so this is what the Isra Heter says. What does it mean, hard cheese? Says the Isra Heter, it means cheese that has worm. Now, if you go in France, you know what it means. The real cheese, which is aged and you go in the store, which you cannot walk in because it stinks, it smells. Yeah. Over there, you could see cheese, which has holes and has worm going on it, and you eat it that way. And even Yidden could eat it if it's cholav Yisrael. It's not a problem with the worms, as we're gonna maybe discuss when it comes to the halacha. These worms is not a problem with tzad halacha. But so that cheese is very sharp. It's very, very, very sharp. It has a long taste. If you eat this kind of cheese, you should wait 6 hours. Or a cheese which is made, which rennet, which is from the stomach of an animal. Because that was the way how they used to do hard cheese. They used to take the stomach of the animal or the milk which was left over of the animal, and you put it into a cheese. That was the way how to make it. It should become hard. Even cottage cheese. Today's day there's artificial. It's called rennet. But then it used to be from the the stomach of an animal. You put it into the cheese. You ask the question, was it b'cholov? The shichanor writes, it's like a piece of wood. Only this kind of cheese you have to wait 6 hours. So again, which has worms or which is made from the stomach of an animal, because this is very sharp and it has a long-lasting taste of the cheese. Therefore, you should be a machmer.
So any of the common cheese today is good.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to it. I'm building it up. And I'm going to leave 10-15 minutes that you should be able to ask the questions. Okay, so therefore, that's the Isuv Heter, and this is what the Tas says. The Terzuv, again, as on the Shechanur, there's a Terzuv in Shach, the two poiskim. And the Terzuv writes, we should be machmer only on cheese, which has made from rennet, which comes from an animal, or which is basically has the worm, because that's a very long lasting. If it doesn't have one of these, you don't have to wait 6 hours. Comes the shach, which is the shach. 1 second. Comes the shach, and the shach is the poison which we go mostly about according when we have a difference with shach and tas. We go according to the shach. The shach adds on any cheese which was by production, it was aged 6 months. That is considered hard cheese, and you have to wait 6 hours because then when it's aged, or according to the other poiskim, when it has worms or it has the rennet, it's very sour. It's very, it has a long-lasting taste. So according to Rashi, it has a long taste. And according to some poiskim, also it's very hard. So automatically it can stay between the teeth. So it has the both reasons which we have to wait 6 hours after meat. Has the same thing 6 hours after Melchis. What do you want to?
You just answered.
Okay. Most of your questions will be answered during the sheet.
Does that count with sour cream too?
We're gonna get all these things. Again, I'm telling you, if the end of the sheet I didn't address it, then you can ask it. Usually, it's going to. I had by the man the same thing. They started asking a question. I says, if end of the sheet, they got used already that it's going to be addressed. Now again, if the end of the sheet I forgot something, bring it up. Okay, so over here we have the psak that we have to wait 6 hours after cheese, which is hard cheese. But again, what is considered hard cheese? Cheese which is aged 6 months during production. Cheese which is very sour, very sharp, which is all through the rennet which they put in. And cheese which has the worms, which is also very sharp. That's the reason why we are basically machmer 6 hours. Now, what's wrong with our cheese? Now let's go to practical. What do we do with our cheese? Most of the cheese which is bought in the United States of America, which is produced in the United States of America, American cheese, most of them are not aged 6 months. There are 3 cheeses which are aged. One is grated Parmesan. All the grated Parmesan cheeses are aged more than 6 months, sometimes even 2 years. The second one is Romana cheese. And the third one is Asiaga. Now, not all of them you'll know because it's not too popular in the Jewish world. You don't make all the cheeses. But again, these are the 3 cheeses which is aged for a long time. Now there are sharp cheddar. Cheddar is how do you say?
Cheddar.
Sharp cheddar, which could be also it could be also aged. But again, that's only if it's sharp. It says on it. So again,
it will say age.
Yeah, usually saying writing age is a good reason to do it because it's more expensive. It's like aged wine. It gives flavor. It gives a lot of things. So it costs money. It's a marketing thing. So most of the cheeses which we have is not aged. These are, again, Brigade Parmesan is a popular cheese which we use. That's aged. Romano and Asiago cheese. These are the basically which are aged. All other cheeses are made overnight, so to speak. Maybe a week, 2, but it's not aged 6 months. So according to this, all cheeses which is not aged, you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait.
But every single Parmesan cheese is aged?
Or greater Parmesan, everything is aged. Yeah, we're going to see, this is Nagaya, if you cook it and it falls away. We're going to see, but when it comes to Swiss cheese, a lot of them are aged. So when you have the Swiss cheese triangle cheeses, these kind of things, you have to check because there is a lot of cheeses which is aged. But again, American cheeses, which is sold and produced in America, it is not aged. And that, the reason is why, because even though it got hard, but that's artificial made, and that's not sour, that's not really hard, and therefore it is not a thing which you have to wait 6 hours. Now, you have sometimes other cheeses which they have a date how long you should sell it. Sell it by X, Y, and Z, X date, that Y date. But you're going to see most of the cheeses from the Chassidische companies have a date which is less 6 months. Why? Because there are some poskim which machmer that even it wasn't aged by production 6 months, since it was in the refrigerator and packaged 6 months, it goes into the same category of 6 months, and therefore you should be machmer and shouldn't. So there was the date, goes the date which is 6 months. But Lamasa, ich halt me dafish machmer zan, and a lot of other poskim hold, but again the reason is very simple. The whole thing is a chimra. It's a chimra. And the matzias is, if you're going to taste it, even the cheese does not change the texture or the taste by being in the refrigerator 6 months. When it is in production 6 months, it stays in this whole process, how 6 months. Then the longer it gets, it loses the water. If you ever saw in Tzfas how they make it, it loses the water with the salt, with all this, the process. So the longer it stays, it becomes more sharp. These things doesn't change the texture and doesn't change the taste. So therefore, although it's 6 months in the refrigerator, it does not change the... But again, if somebody wants to be a machmer, but it is not a thing which you have to be machmer. You could buy the cheeses which is not aged cheese and use it regularly and don't have to wait for 6 hours again, because the whole 6 hours is also a chimra which we added on. So you don't have to be machmer when Pashas comes out in the poskim that it is you don't have to wait. But there are cheeses, for instance, feta cheese. Feta cheese is a sharp cheese. Now, although it's not it's not 6 months, but the process is such a process that it has a very sharp, lasting taste in the mouth. Over here is a real inyan and a chimra. It's a real good thing that in a lot of places say that you have to wait 6 hours after you add feta cheese. So again, although it's not aged 6 hours, but the production is such a production that artificially they could make it so sour and so sharp as if it would have waited. Of them is duach shayna chimra that you should wait 6 hours. Now, when it comes, we said before, cheddar cheese, this is what we said before, grated Parmesan, it is a thing which you have to wait 6 hours. But there's a Yad Yehida, one of the poskim in Yerdaya, which says that even the cheeses which are hard, if they are cooked, they're cooked it loses this.
They're cooked after.
If when you use it, that's why pizza, you use sometimes. Which cheese do you use when you use mozzarella?
That's not
Mozzarella, I don't know if mozzarella
Yeah.
is considered a sharp
Sometimes you
cheese.
get a pizza blend with mozzarella and cheddar.
You can have cheddar,
Cheddar.
and cheddar could be a sharp one again, as I
Cheddar,
mentioned.
yeah, I don't know.
But again, since it's baked, it goes through it's baked, it gets softer, and it loses the value of the yadida. And such a thing, you could also rely on such a thing that if it's cooked, but if a person eats for breakfast a bread with a piece of cheddar cheese, again the sharp ones, or Parmesan cheese, or all the H cheeses with the Swiss cheese is very popular. You go in the hotels when they give you the round and have 6 pieces, triangle cheeses. All these things are H. These things you have to wait 6 hours till you eat milchiks, till you eat flesh.
What happens if it's in a salad and you have Parmesan cheese sprinkled on?
You'll have the same problem.
Really?
Because it's not cooked. If it's cooked, it gets soft. It loses the chshiva. It loses this. But if it's packet Parmesan, grated Parmesan cheese, which you put a lot of times into salads, then you should wait 6 hours. 6 hours, yeah.
So baking and cooking both does that?
The what? Baking and cooking, yes.
Wait, could you repeat the part about the pizza cheese, which is mozzarella, not cheddar? Cheddar is orange. I use orange cheese on pizza.
Cheddar is always orange.
I don't know.
They do
Cheddar
no,
orange.
But there's a
they do-
pizza
that's-
blend.
Yeah,
That's both.
with
Yeah,
cheddar,
but I know
mozzarella,
the
and
store
something
makes
else.
pizza, isn't it white? It's white
Yeah,
cheese.
usually at
Right.
the store it's
So it's
white.
mozzarella.
Right, but let's say you make it on your own.
But I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
okay.
that's usually mozzarella. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so then again, mozzarella we said basically.
No, you didn't talk about mozzarella. You spoke about cheddar.
But sometimes they put feta on pizza as well.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, feta cheese on pizza.
Oh, feta cheese
Okay.
goes very often in a salad.
Salads, that's right. This is why I want to bring it up, because you have a salad and it's not cooked as feta cheese. This is a reason to wait.
And it's
There is one. I remember seeing it in the store because when I made my son's option. There is one brand of Parmesan that it's not aged.
Okay.
Like they write that on the package.
Or if it's not aged, then it's not a problem. And it's kedai to look on the packages, because the
Right.
package is right if it's aged or not, because it's very good for marketing if it's aged. So therefore, look at it. If it's not aged, then you don't have to be machmer. Again, there are some which want to be machmer. If somebody wants to take the chimra, it's fine, but I don't think that you need to go there far.
Right.
And it's fine. We should.
Once the cheese is cooked in something, it loses.
Yeah, it's first of all it becomes soft, so loses be'itzam. The main. Let me step back a second. There are a lot of points which say that the problem of cheese staying in the mouth is not a problem. Although the Rambam has this problem by meat, not by cheese. Why? Because the Torah says when from where we learn that meat still till 6 hours is still called bosar. The Torah says habosar adeni by neshanaim. Then when is the problem of Klal Yisrael wanted meat, and then the Rebbeinu Shalom gave them slav, and the Torah says the bosar was still between their teeth, and then the Rebbeinu Shalom sent them a daver. They were all killed. So the Torah calls it a basar by neshanaim. That means even it's between the teeth, it's still called basar. So therefore we see basar is between the teeth, it's called basar. That's the Rambam's raya. So there are most of the poskim which want to say that's a din only in basar, because we have a pasuk that tells us basar by neshanaim. We don't have a pasuk gvina after 5 hours or after 3 hours is still considered gvina. So therefore, according to the Rambam's tam, maybe there is not a reason b'chlal to be machmer, but there's a pri chodesh, which pri chodesh he says no. The Torah hat magalig das given. The Torah said b'shas when by basar that even after hours it's still considered basar. So it goes also on other foods. So therefore, also given is also the same. But not all poskim are maskim. So therefore, let's go like that. Once it is No, the only thing is what? So we have shittas rasha, that long taste. So the post can say once a thing is cooked, first of all, falls away in ganzen Rambam because it's soft. It becomes soft, and also even the Mashiach's tam falls away by cooking. So therefore, once it cooks, you can again. It's not makibel by all the poskim because it's the Yadida, but the Yadida is a big posik, and he brings down this shita. And again, since we have poskim which say that you don't have to wait b'chalal, and it's a chimra and a chimra, so therefore, is hanugas ha'olam is. Again, when they have anything which is aged, you wait 6 hours. Anything which is very sharp, like feta cheese, you will wait 6 hours. Even what you need aged, if it was cooked, so automatically you lose. So we could rely on the adihida and not have to wait 6 hours. But again, we wait an hour. That's for sure. So at least this is a peshora of all the poskim. Now again, there are people who are very machmar and they give more and any hard. There are some people who are machmar any hard cheese, even if it's not aged. Since it has become hard, goes into category of the halacha and you have to wait. But again, we have to be more practical and again, it's chimras and we're only in such halachas which is a chimra built on another chimra. We could be more lenient. So again, anything which is aged, you should wage. Anything which is very sour or sharp, you should wage. You should wait. And other than that, you don't have to wait. Wait an hour, but not wait 6 hours. Okay. Is it clear as of now? This is the kiddah. Okay. So let's continue. Now, when we said that we have to be machmar, that you shouldn't eat. I'm going back to when you have to wait 6 hours or an hour, when you have to wait 6 hours after you ate meat, you should wait 6 hours. And that's not only if you want to eat after meat, cheese or milk. It is also if let's go for first other side. You ate chicken soup. Even chicken soup, which basically you could say there's no meat between the teeth, and it's not meat that basically you could still have the fat should basically be for 6 hours. After pecan, steht in the poiskem, and also gepasst in Shichanorach, that we wait after eating a tafshel shel basar 6 hours. That means if a person has chicken soup or he ate a tafshel, anything which was cooked together with meat, sauce or potatoes which is cooked together with meat, carrots, all these things which were cooked together with tea, that means it's a tafshel shabasar. It's not basar itself, it's a tafshel which is made together with basar. We have to wait 6 hours. As if you ate regular meat. Same. The same will be other way. If, for instance, you ate a machel, a soup, which was inside, you cooked inside a milkige product, or you have oil, which you fried inside a milky egg roll or whatever. So the oil basically is not a thing which is, it's a tafshel bosa, so to speak, tafshel cholaf. You will have to wait afterwards an hour as if it is, you ate the cheese itself. And not only that, that after tafshel buser, eating tafshel cholaf is also. That means if you want to eat after a milchige food, a milchige soup, so to speak, which was basically cooked, it's a tafshel. It's not the cheese itself. It's a tafshel. For instance, let's go to the mushroom we said before. A milchige egg roll, which was fried in a sheman, and you ate the sheman or whatever you ate, and now you want to eat a machel which was basically fried in a fleischige with meat. So both are not the actual meat, the actual basar, actual milk. Both are only a tafshel, which was cooked together with the opposite mean. That means potatoes, which was cooked together with meat, you cannot eat with a food with potatoes, which was cooked together with, and you have to wait 6 hours. 6 hours. So if you ate potatoes. No, together for sure not. I mean to say 6 hours. What?
No. I want you to
clarify, please, what cooking together means. Does it mean in the same exact pan? Does it mean in the same oven?
No, we're going to get to the oven in a minute. I'm talking the same pan.
In the same pan.
Same pan. You have a goulash. Yeah, you have meat and potatoes together, and you ate the potatoes, only the potatoes. You had a cholent, yeah, and your child doesn't like beans. You only ate the potatoes. You have to wait 6 hours. 6 hours. And even if you want to eat within the 6 hours, not a food which is mamash milchiks, only a food which was cooked together milchiks in one pan, also 6 hours. So again, tafshel, the nekidus which I want to say is anything which is a tafshel shel basar or tafshel shel gevin, that means it was cooked together with milk or cheese, although it only got taste of it. So basically you will say the reasons behind it, we don't have the reasons. Because the reasons was, I'm afraid, maybe you're going to have a piece of meat in your teeth, and by the tafshel you don't have it. And the same as meshichas tam, that means it gives out taste. It's only actual basar. So why do we have to wait potatoes which got a taste from it is the same thing. And anything which is cooked together, it is as if it is a part. Potatoes which cooked with meat is meat. Potatoes which cooked in milk is milk, and you have to wait 6 hours. But again, yeah.
Does it include like a clean milchik pot?
No, we're not talking about pots. Now we're talking about, we're going to get pots extra in the kiddos.
Only if there was actual food in there.
Actual food in them. That's called tafshel shel basar. It's a tafshel means a food. Tafshel means a food. Shel basar. That means it's not food, basar itself. It's not meat itself, but it has a taste of meat. It was cooked together with meat. It is as if it is meat, and you have to wait 6 hours. Now, you brought up what it is if you have a machel which was cooked together with one oven, let's say. You have a potato kigel, and you baked it in the oven, and in the same oven you had you baked meat. Oh yeah, meat. But again, it is a thing which I'm not afraid that it spritzed from the oil or spritz from the meat. It's the same oven. Now, a potato kugel which was cooked in the same oven as a chicken cannot be eaten with milchiks. Let's make it clear. You cannot eat it together. A potato kugel which was cooked in the same oven as milchiks or the same oven as fleishes cannot be eaten with the other meat. At the same time, yeah. At the same time, cannot be what?
Even if it's a clean oven and they're both covered?
Even when it's covered. I will go this far, even when it's covered. To eat it together with milk.
If you're saying together, you mean at the same exact time?
Same exact time. Together means together. The same. You have a milchige suda, and you want to eat, eating now pizza, and want to eat a potato kugel, which was basically cooked in an oven together with meat. You cannot eat together. Now, this is what I want to get to, but you don't beget fleshiks. That if you have a potato kugel was cooked in an oven, which is cooked the same time meat, and the oven was opened. The open was, both were opened. Were uncovered. No cover on it. Uncovered. But again, I'm talking in such a case that it doesn't spritz. Again, if you have in a matzav that doesn't spritz, then although you don't eat it together with milchiks, you are not fleishiks that you have to wait 6 hours. That means right after you finish eating the kugel, which was cooked together with flesh, you could eat milchiks.
What if the oven wasn't so clean? And there's like
Residue,
there's splatter, not during the time, but you put it in a not very clean oven where there's flesh, gravy on the floor of the oven.
Okay.
Does that affect the status of the kugel?
Does that status to become fleishiks for 6 hours? No. Does make you fleishiks. Eating together with meat, of course, yes, you can't.
Okay, but
doesn't make you fleishiks. This one I want to get to it. It's not a tafsha shel basar.
You're saying even if both pans were open?
Even both pans were open, and you cannot eat it together with milchiks, but you don't wait 6 hours. That's the kiddush you want to bring. That you don't have to wait. This is a constant thing which people call. I just ate kugel, which was baked Erev Shabbos. Can I have a coffee? And the answer is yes. Don't have it together. And it's also for cake. It's also for challah. If you the same oven which you ate challah, you made chicken, you baked your challahs. I don't know if it's practical, if it is such a thing, but again, if happens to be, it is the same thing. Now the challah does not become fleishiks only as much as you cannot use it together with actual milchiks. You can't put out butter on it. But once you eat the challah, you can eat milchiks afterwards too. The same will go, I'll go even further, the same will go if you have a clean pot, a pot of cholent, and the cover is clean. I'm not talking when you have residue, because then I'm talking when it's clean, and you take a challah, you put it on top of the challah, we want to become warm.
Top of the pot.
Top of the pot, I'm sorry, top of the pot, which is, people do it, yeah? They want to have warm challah, Shabbos in the morning. You take the challah, you put it on top of the pot of the cholent, which you could do, by the way. You are allowed to do this if it's on top of the pot. You cannot put it on the blech, but you could put it on top of the pot of the cholent. Yeah. Now, if it's what you could ask.
If it has ice on it.
No, again, of course not. No. Ice. I got mishtanan in a bishul. I'm talking about it's not ice. You want to have it. It should be warm. It's a dover yuvish. So therefore, dover yuvish ein afia achra. Again, it's not the shira, but it's kedaim as a wissen.
And you put it directly on the pot. You don't have to put.
You could put it directly on the pot. Now, if the pot is clean, although you should not eat this together with cheese, but it doesn't become fleshy, that basically that it is, you have to wait 6 hours. No 6 hours. Kemivin, if you put it on top of the pot, do not make Sunday morning French toast when you put in milk in it, but you can eat it, and right afterwards eat milchiks. The Moshe Feinstein has a tshuva. I don't know practically, but I'm going to bring it up because it's probably you might know more. Yeah.
Like steams.
If it has steam, there's a problem. But usually you don't have steam. You not necessarily have a steam on it. If you have a vilka, if it's covered, if it's covered, there's no steam. If you open it, there's steam. The what?
Have like a hole in the cover that it like steams.
Then it's a problem. Then it's
you put the challah in a bag on top?
The what?
What if you put the challah in a bag on top? It still is like fleshik that you can't make a cheese sandwich.
You mean to say if it's surrounded with a bag,
yeah.
And even if there's steam?
No, without the steam. Like let's say not by the steam.
Oh, not by the steam.
Yeah.
So if you want to ask, you can eat it with milchiks b'chal? Yes, you can eat it with milchiks. Because then, yeah. But you have to make sure it didn't get a hole.
Right.
But if it is, or a silver foil, then it's not an issue. Yeah.
What?
So Ramosha has a tshiva, I don't know, but again, it's practical, that they used to make vitamins from the liver of an animal. Kosher animal, used to make a vitamin there. So Ramosha was asked, do you need to wait? That's already the liver of an animal. So basically, it's a piece of meat. Do you have to wait 6 hours? And Ramosha writes, no. Even though, when we spoke before, tafshel shal boser, with the that means that a tafshel, a food which was cooked together with meat, you shouldn't eat even with food which cooked together with milk. He says in such a case, he says because you don't eat it, you swallow it, vitamins, you don't have any taste and go straight away. And this that loy palik, we don't say no palik. That means sometimes we say we don't make a distinction. We don't eat milk is fleishes, even there is it's not the same. We don't make chalikim, because once you start making differences people do not know, you make the isam. So Moshe says in such a case, he holds like tchila. If somebody who has these vitamins, it's not a problem, and he does not have to wait 6 hours. Now I want to final thing, a question which was brought up the first shir, and I want to address this now. A person ate a onion which was cut with a fleshig knife. So we know, and we're going to get into deep depth, the varcharav Yetchem, the upcoming shiurim. Sharp things absorb the taste fully. Even it's eine b'yoyma. Again, eine b'yoyma means it went past 24 hours, so automatically the taste in a kele gets rotten, so to speak. Pugam, which the chazal stale. So therefore, whenever you have an eina b'yoyma taste, it won't aser. But when it comes to the v'charav, sharp things, the sharp things wakes up the good taste, and it's a problem. So therefore, if a person takes a knife, a milchige knife, and it cuts an onion, the onion is milchigs. Yeah, you can. And if you're going to cook this onion in a chicken soup, you're going to have to throw away everything. It's strife. So the question begs, if a person cuts a onion with a fleishige knife, does he have to wait 6 hours or not? Or, let me go a different question. A person ate a fleishige su'uda, comes from a chassan, he ate a full fleishige su'uda, and now he wants to eat a food which has onions, which was cut with the milchige knife. What is then the halacha? Do you have to wait, like after fleishig or not? That was, I think, the first shear somebody brought it up, first and second shear. And the answer is like this. When you ate a fleishige meal, you became fleishig. You cannot eat for 6 hours an onion which is cut with a milchige knife. Since the onion which cut with a milchige knife becomes a milchigs, so therefore you'll have to wait 6 hours. Since you are fleishigs, you ate real flesh. You have to wait 6 hours. You cannot eat an onion which is cut by a milchige knife. But if you have an onion, you ate an onion which was cut with a fleishige knife, so the taste you ate a fleishige thing, but basically you ate a fleishige thing which is only a tam of the fleishige. You didn't eat flesh itself. In such a case, you don't have to wait 6 hours to eat milchigs. So again, I want you to have the chilik. The chilik is, what are you? If you became fleishigs by physical eating flesh, then you cannot eat the onion for 6 hours, which was cut by a milchige knife. And the same will be vice versa. If you are actual ate pizza now, you cannot eat a onion which is cut with a fleshige knife till you wait an hour, the same as it is you ate, because you are fleshig, so you're milchigs. But when you're not fleshig, you're milchigs because you ate a meal. It is only you became fleshig, so to speak, because you ate an onion which was cut with a fleshige knife. Although the onion is fleshig, and if you're going to cook it with milchigs, it's going to be treif, but it doesn't make you fleishigs for 6 hours, and then you're going to be able to eat afterwards.
So
you don't have to wait.
If I made a vegetable salad and I cut into it onions with a fleishige knife, I'm not fleishig.
You're not fleishig. Okay. You cannot eat it together with milk.
Right.
But once you finish, you don't have to wait.
Yeah, I don't have to wait. Now if I'm fleishig and I ate flesh, and now I want to eat something that was cut with a milchige knife, an onion, but I sauteed the onions.
Again, you ate the fleshige meal. Fine, fleshig. Now you have to wait 6
hours.
Yeah.
But I want to eat something that I'm cooking for milchigs. So I cooked it. I cut the onion with a milchige knife.
Which an onion is milchigs.
It's milchigs, but I sauteed it.
What's the difference?
Doesn't matter.
No difference. No, the sauteing will only make a difference. We're going to see in upcoming shiurim. Sauté loses the sharpness. That means when you cut a knife or you fry. If you cut an onion or you fry an onion the first time, you have an onion, which is, let's say you cut it with a part of a knife, and you fried it in a fleshige pan, the onions become fleshig. But let's say you cut an onion with a part of a knife, and you sauteed it with a part of a pot. Yeah? Part of a pot. Now you use this onion, which is ready. It's a part of onion. Yeah. Now, the second time when you use it, it's no more anymore milchigs and fleishigs.
That's if you cut it with a part of a knife.
If you cut it with a part, but even if you not cut it in a part of a knife, no, you're right. I said the wrong example. I cut a knife with a part of I cut an onion with a part of a knife. I sauteed it in a fleshige pot. Okay. So now the onion became fleshig by sauteing it in the pot. Yeah, it becomes fleshig. Yeah. Now I cooked this onion, which is already sauteed. I cooked it in a milchige pot, eine beyoima. This is what I want to come there to. Yeah, you got the no, again. I cut the knife with a part of a knife. So what is the onion? A part of an onion. I sauteed it in a pan which is eine beyoima of meat. What happens to the onions? Becomes fleshig. Because the sharpness takes it out.
It awakens
It becomes fleshig. Now I took the fleshige onions, yeah, and I cooked it in a milchige pot, eine beyoima.
Both
Eine beyoima.
of them were like
Both are eine beyoima. But the first part, you sauteed onions which were sharp, took out, it became fleshigs. The second part is nicht kadu v'charav. It goes with other klolim. It goes shishim. It goes and if it's eine beyoima, nothing happens.
I don't get that. There's something in onion and fleshig pot.
Yeah, you shouldn't be doing what he said.
And then what's with the milk? You're taking
No,
the
he says
fleshig
that
onion.
what happens if you take that, so that became flesh
Right.
mix of the pot.
Right.
But then what happens if by mistake you put it into a milchige pot?
Yeah.
When it's cold, after you sauteed it, it's cold, it's not
lost
hot,
its sharpness.
lost its sharpness.
The onion that
okay.
loses its sharpness.
No, it's not okay to do.
Yeah.
But now, if you're going to take this onion and cook it in a milchige pot, eine beyoima, it's not going to become osir. Although it's onion, because now it's not considered onion anymore. Onion is considered when it's sharp. You got the
So you're changing the whole mass of an onion.
Once you cook it,
it loses the sharpness.
It loses its sharpness.
Yeah.
You have changed the matzav of the.
You changed it.
It's a totally different.
Once you cooked it,
Second
second time it's not sharp.
Not the second time. Once it's cooked.
Once it's cooked, it's no more
it's
sharp.
not sharp
So
anymore.
now, I got even this onion is still fleshigs because you cooked it in a fleshige pot, even in the beyoima. It is fleshigs. But if you made a mistake and you put it in to a milchige pot, eine beyoima, it won't aser. This is what I want to say. It's not going to make a problem for the milchige pot. The milchige pot didn't have to kasher at all because. But that's only the second time. But again, we jumped the curb.
Yeah.
What's
know,
Eina Bayoma?
Eine beyoima means it went through 24 hours not using it. Ben yoima means dead. Yoim means day. Ben yoima means it is in the 24 hours. Eine beyoima means it passed 24 hours because if you have a cup or a pot. It's not bayom, yeah. So whenever it goes through 24 hours, it, so to speak, gets stale the taste, loses his status, so to speak. So when it comes to halacha, it changes. That's why a lot of shilas which we have, which it comes with ein b'yoyim pots, we can deal with it because it is. But once you come ben yoyim, then comes strife.
So if I'm powering and I took a milchig knife and cut an onion, that onion becomes
Milchiks, yes.
So when I eat it, I after eating it, I have to wait 1 hour.
This
fleshig?
no. This is what I said before. Since you are not fleshig, you're not milchig because you ate milchiks. You're only milchiks because you ate the onion which was cut by a milchig knife. So since your status is parava, this is what you said. You gave the tziyur that you're parava, and you ate a onion which is cut with a milchig knife. So what is your status based on your parava? Your milchig is only because you ate the atam which comes into the onion. So you cannot eat it again with fleshiks. Okay. But after, you don't become fleshiks to wait 6 hours. But if you basically ate fleshiks, you will have to wait 6 hours till you eat the onion which is cut by a milchig knife. Because you are fleshig, your status is fleshiks. And you have to wait 6 hours after fleshiks. So therefore, even to eat a onion which was cut by milchiks is also osir since you're fleshiks.
What if you were fleshik and the day before you had cut the onion with milchik and you accidentally put the milchik onion in a fleshik pot?
Treif. Because an onion, it does, when we say, let me clarify when we say that after 24 hours the food becomes stale, that's only in pots, only in a keli, only when you have in pots and pans or utensils, then you say after 24 hours it becomes stale. In food, you are not going to say. So you have an onion which was cut yesterday or 3 days ago with a milchig knife, and now you cut it and you put it in the fleshige cholent, you have to throw it out.
What if you cut it with a milchik knife and saute it in a milchik pot?
Okay.
And then put the sauteed onion 24 hours later in a fleshig pot.
And no difference 24 or not 24. No difference, because the actual onion is now milchiks.
So the onion itself is treif, but...
The onion itself is... No, I didn't say the onion itself. You asked me if you could use this onion and put it into a fleshig pot.
Yeah, let's say the sauteed onion, the milchik...
You cannot put it into a fleshig pot.
And if you accidentally put it into a pot?
Okay, when you accidentally put it into a pot, so now you have to... It became a problem of basa b'chalav, because you cooked a cholent, and you have inside onions, which is basically milchiks. So you have to have shishim, as we're going to get. You have 60 times as much as you have the onions. You have to go with it. It becomes treif. It becomes treif. Except if you have bittel. Again, which I don't want to go into now for this. Then you have to ask a shaila. If you have an onion, which is called the milchig knife, and you put it in the cholent, even you put it in the cholent 2 days later, it will make you treif. Okay. Only in a kela, which becomes stale, then there's eine b'yoyma, and sharpness wakes it up. So sharpness will say, even you have a keli, which you didn't use for 5 months, a fleshig keli, you didn't use for 5 months, and you sauteed onions, the onions becomes fleshig.
Okay.
So if you take...
Yeah.
Go ahead. If you take an onion and you just cut off a small part with a milchik knife, is the whole onion milchik?
Yes.
You can't take like a power knife and cut it over on the side.
No.
Okay.
It's a good question. There are some who want to say it depends, but in them paskimaras, the whole onion is a problem. But if it happens, let me just make it clear. If it happens, you cut on top and you cut in the bottom with a milchig knife, ask her off. Just.
This is why my daughter makes everything power.
This is what you should do. Everything with sharp, you have to have part of a utensil because of this knives. Because a lot of shilas which comes today is the knives with the onions, with the onion, garlic, whatever, everything which is sharp.
We had a situation this Shabbos, and the Rav was not here, so...
I know you can't not go, but I have mitzvah the rice of kibbutz avim.
I was like, even though my husband did go and ask someone who's a Rav,
who
can be posek halacha, he was still not sure how to go, didn't feel comfortable. But this is what happened. I sorted onion, the fleshig knife in a fleshig pot with liver. Everything is fleshig, from all angles.
Can be more fleshig.
Can be more fleshig. It cooled down a little bit. It was still warm, but not hot. And then my dear husband wanted to really help this time. Like he said, this time I'm going to blend like he did a surprise for me. Like, I'm going to go and finish that dish and blend the liver. He asked me, where is the blender? I said, on the fleshig side of the kitchen. The first time ever that I let him go by himself and take it. And I know where the fleshig side, and he also knew where the fleshig side. And that day, the cleaning lady took the milchik blender and put it in the fleshig side. When she cleaned up, I come to the kitchen, I'm noticing the liver inside
the milchig blender.
The milchig blender already tahun.
I think
is it allowed to be eaten? Is my blender okay?
My husband's going to say that every day he gets shilas about the goita in the kitchen.
Okay, so let's delve into it.
I'm always so careful with the blender to always make sure that if the milchik wants that, it goes in before the cleaning lid.
The first thing which you need to know from this shaila is never let the man in the kitchen. That's the first thing. Number 2, it was cold already. It wasn't hot already. Let's go like that. Was it still hot? Piping hot?
No,
it wasn't
piping hot.
It wasn't?
No.
So basically it cooled down. It's not boy. That means...
Yeah.
No.
It was still warm.
What does that mean, warm? Temperature-wise?
Warm. You can touch it and eat it. A kid can eat it.
Kid can eat it. Okay, so that's not boy.
Okay.
Okay. So now the The onion, again, as I said before, the onion is basically fleischiks. But the onion was already sauteed. Yeah, that was it. So it loses the sharpness. Okay, so now we have a question of taking a blender and a milchige blender, or
Blender is a knife.
taking a blender, a milchige blender, yeah, and you blend it cold meat. Yeah, what is the halacha? You took a milchige knife and you cut cold meat of fleischiks. We're talking about clean. The first thing you have to know, it has to be clean.
Yeah.
Clean knife, milchige knife, you cut a piece of cold cheese. A pialocha, it's not osar. It doesn't get thrive. Why? Because how does the taste go in? A knife could only when you pressure it has to be sharp. Now, once it was sauteed, it loses the sharpness. It lost the sharpness. So basically, your blender did not become fleischiks. Your milchige blender did not become fleischiks. You have to clean it well, and in a part of a sink or whatever, and not too hot water again, or not hot water, because then. But again, as of now, the blender did not become milchiks. Now let's talk about the thing itself. You had fleishige things, and you cut it. You cut a clean blender, a clean knife, with cold meat. Again, if it's not your oldest boy, it's considered cold, and it lost the sharpness. So basically, cutting a knife, a milchige knife, a piece of meat, does not asa. Now you cannot do it like it. And make sure as next time he comes into the kitchen, he does the right thing. But if you're asking me, what do I do? Is it have to throw out the whole thing which we have? No, you don't have to throw out the whole thing we have. You could eat it. You could eat it. Because how did the connection from the milchige knife go into the onions? The onions is sauteed. If the onions wouldn't be sauteed, then everything is a problem. Everything's what?
It was raw onion.
If it was a raw onion, then you screw up your whole blender. Then it's a problem, and you'll have to kasher the blades. But now, since it was sauteed, loses the sharpness, and it wasn't hot, because if it's hot, there's still a problem. It wasn't hot either, so you don't have an issue.
Okay.
What did he do?
No, he said it's good. The other person he asked said it's good. It just nobody touched it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Also, the Shechanor sagt, wir mögen es essen.
I always have that question: are you allowed to do to be mehader and then, or it's baltashkis? Which one comes first?
It's a very good child. In such a case, I would say it's baltashkis. In Shechanor, in the Poiskim, there's a shala. If you had the chicken and he had the shala treifas, and he asked the roof, and the roof says it's okay, it's a kosher. If you are allowed to be machmer, and there are Poiskim which say, in a lot of Poiskim say that in such a case, hoire b'chucham, it's called hoire b'chucham. It's a shala which you had to ask the roof, a treifa shala, you could be machmer. But in such a case like you, again, a person could if you don't want to be a maltachshis, you could give it for someone else which doesn't know that it was an Esther shaila. Kusher is this. Again, it's not it's not. I don't need to come even have some maribo shaset chag. No, sometimes we have halachas which we're going to be matter when it's have some maribo. It's a lot of money. Yeah, it's a big commercial kitchen, or even for a poor person, it's a lot of money to throw away. So the Shulchan Aruch itself gives us options. Have some riba, we could be lenient. As I mentioned, the first shear, which you have to have it in the mind constantly, because people ask constantly, it's kosher, not kosher. How could it be say have some riba or shasat chag? So if you remember, the first shear which I gave the klolim, and I said, whenever we are Michael have some riba shasat chag is because me'ikar adin we pass it's okay. Now with them we are machmer, like the poskim which say you shouldn't do it, you shouldn't eat it. But when it comes to Hafsim Riba, we put it back on the original law. Yeah, that's the cloud. Did you get what I'm saying? sometimes the Shulchan Aruch says like this: the halacha is me'ikar adin, it's kosher, but that posik says is a problem. That posik says is a problem. Zuk dermu, don't use it like tchila. Zukt aber the remove, that's only if it's not Shas Chag. It's not Erev Shabbos 5 minutes for the Zman. Or if it's not half some river. If you're going to the commercial kitchen and you have to throw away all those things, Zukt the remove in such a case, we are relying on what is the halacha be'etzem. Be'etzem. That means we, for instance, as I mentioned before, the al klol halacha, how we pass. Yeah, we have a klol halacha, we pass like the remove, we pass the shach, we pass. But if we have, let's say, for instance, a poisig which the Ramuk gives weight, but after all, he passes like his Rebbes. Now he will say, if it happens, don't use it because my Rebbe passes. I'm sorry, he holds beikradin. My Rebbe says, okay, it's fine. But since there's a poisig which has a lot of weight, it takes weight, so therefore, like don't do it. And if you did it, don't use it. But if it's half some Rebbe. Yeah, Zuk the Remu itself, the Shulchan Aruch itself says, if it's a lot of money, so you have to throw away a lot of money, then since the halacha be'etzem is that it's okay, I wanted to be machmar because there are other poskim. If it's has riba, go back to the original psak. That's always the concept, why we could be lenient, have some riba, shasat chag. So that's when you call Arov, you don't throw, when you have a shal, you don't throw it out first. Because he takes this halacha and it says the situation. And every detail in the shala changes the halacha. And that's why always I don't understand people give over psukim which they asked a Rav and the Rav passed like this. You don't know exactly the situation by somebody else. That Rav gave you the answer because it was such a scenario. And if it's not exactly the same scenario, it could be osir b'tachlis. So you cannot share psukim which you hate from a friend. So I'm going back to what I said now. In your shaila, it is not a heter because it's shasat chag, have some riba, it is because mitzad halucha, it's okay. It's cold, it's not sharp, so therefore you have a question about tashkes. I would say, or eat it, or give it to someone which doesn't have, this guilty feeling.
I remember I had another I don't know if you know from California. And he told us, like, some people say you could just throw out your stuff, whatever. And he's like, no. It's just as in it's a vera to eat, like, milk and meat together, it's also not okay to throw out things to be baltashas. You need it all. You can say, just throw it out, no big deal. It's also too. It's also concern.
So just what do you want?
So I have a pot that I haven't cooked meat in. So it's a parav pot, but it's been on a flame, like on a stovetop. Am I able to use a milchik blender to blend the food that I'm cooking in it?
Yes. Because the pot is a part of a pot. It doesn't come fly. How does it become fleshik? Just because it's on a stovetop which you designated for milchiks doesn't make it milchiks, doesn't make it fleshiks. The pot doesn't. So it's still part of it. It's part of it and then you can blend it, yes.
Okay. And one more question. Tomatoes, is that also counted as a sharp?
We're going to get, we're going to get a little bit more depth in the sharp, which we're going to get. We're still, we cheated a little bit and I brought up other things, but we're going to get a little bit more.
But now her pot is milchik, no?
Why is the pot milchik?
Because she said she used it, something that she did in the blender.
No,
blender.
She said she cooked in a parva pot a food, and she wants to blend the food in a milchik blender.
Oh.
Can I use an immersion blender in it?
Also.
Yeah?
But
it's hot or cold.
Even if it's hot, it's a part of a pot, a part of food.
But
I'm just wondering for next time.
For what? The blender or what?
The food. So, like, let's say I'm making pumpkin soup. So I'm
Good.
using,
And in a part of a pot.
Yeah.
Good. And you're taking a blender which is milky. Good. Okay. Oh, but now you're making it. Now you can have an issue that when you're gonna cook, if it's hot. So what happens? Depends. Is the blender a b'yoyim or ein b'yoyim?
If the blender's clean, I haven't used it in like 2 months.
So ein b'yoyim, but ochtendlich you cannot eat the soup. The soup stays parva, but you cannot eat the soup with meat mamash.
Okay.
Why? The same reason. Because now you have a hot parvus soup. You're putting it in a knife. Again, a blender is basically a milchige knife. You're putting in a milchige knife, even if it's ein bayoima, so it's not doesn't aser. But like lekitchila, we don't use even ein bayoima to eat together with milchiks with fleishiks mamash. So if you make such a soup with a milchig blender, you cannot eat it mamash with fleishiks. But you don't become fleishiks to wait 6 hours.
Can I warm up this soup in a fleshik microwave?
The parva
The parva one that was done
which
with,
basically became ein biyoma. Yes, you could. Yes.
We can do it
While she didn't use the blade for a long time.
But does that become
If
warm?
she just cooked
Yeah, but
the
it's
soup
like a
today.
hand blender that goes.
The what?
She just cooked the soup today in the milchige pot.
No, in a parva. Remember, you have to remember the scenario. Parva soup. It's a regular parva soup.
That when that immersion blender is working, does that become warm?
What becomes warm?
The knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and
That doesn't matter.
it becomes warm because you dip it
It becomes warm from
working.
From working.
Good. So what is it worse? Then it becomes warm because dipping it in a hot soup. What is the difference? The soup is a part of a soup. Again, we have to realize the soup is she's talking a part of a soup. So what is the issue?
Milk like immersion blender.
Milchige immersion blender in a part of a soup.
Yeah.
Good. And the milchige immersion blender is ein bayoima. It's clean and it's ein bayoima. Yeah. So what is the issue now?
I would think it becomes milk like.
So I'm going to ask you again. So I'm going to ask.
The issue now is what happens if you take your fleshik immersion blender and now you're sticking it in the same soup. It's part of soup. And you'd have an issue, no?
If the part of a blender is ein bayoima.
No, not part of
I'm sorry. If the second blender if the fleshik blender is ein bayoima.
Can I reheat it?
One second. No. And what's the
The
logic?
question is, could you take these both blenders and put them in the same pot?
No, that not.
But the pot is carved, like you said.
Yes,
The question
but
is,
since
are
it's
these-
in the same time when it's hot, it's a problem because you have now
Even if they're
a
different times,
so now I'm saying
the same pot,
the same pot.
very, very hot.
So like again, you cannot do it lekitchila. If you want to use a fleshig blender afterwards, a second time, you cannot do it lekitchila. But let's assume I have a shaila. You call me, I made a vegetable soup and I blend it with a milchige blender, which is clean, ein bayoima. I dipped it in, I blend it in the part of a pot. And by mistake, my husband wanted to help, took the fleshige blender, put in the same fleshige blender afterwards, and blended it again. What is the halacha? Bepoil, after it was done, is the soup treif? The answer is no. No, because based on ein biyoma. Again, I did not. The problem over here is a little bit because in the next I have to give you the klolam of biyoma, ein biyoma, how these things work. So then you realize. But when you ask us a question, a soup which was blended separate time, not the same time, separate times. It's not also by the Avid. You cannot do it.
She's asking about her pumpkin soup, right? So she's taking her milk thing and she's putting it in, and she's doing that, and you're saying it's fine, and then the next day, like
she cannot eat it with fleshiks, and she cannot blend it, and she's not going to blend the soup again.
Can I reheat it in a fleshik pot?
No.
It has to be in a fire pot.
That's right.
Can it be reheated in a
That's as if what?
Can it be reheated in a
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wait, so if you and your husband both did, one did with the milchig blender and one did with the fleshig blender.
And both with ein bayoima, but the Avid is will not become treif. But the Avid.
Okay, not become treif, but because first, if I understood correctly, if you did it with the milchig blender, it's not milchig, still powered, but don't eat it with fleshig. So now, and my husband the next day did it with the fleshig one, so now I'm also not allowed to eat it with milchig.
No. Then you eat it.
I can only eat it with part.
You eat a part of it, it stays part of it, yeah, exactly.
It just seems.
And that's only because it's ein bayoima. Once it's ben yoima, a different ball game, then you're going to the problems. But yoima is within the 24 hours, you use this blender for milchiks. Then you're going in a different ball. But only because when she asks the question, the first thing we're going to ask is it Bayoim, is it Eina Bayoim? So that's why it's always, as I mentioned the first sheet, always give the maximum information. So when a Rav asks you all the questions in any shaila, it's not because he's nosy. It is because he wants to give you the proper answer, and he tries to help you and make it kosher or toward the maximum which is possible. So if he has the information, he could play around. That means play around means he could be Matzarav, he could see the picture. If not, he's stuck. That's Pasha
I think when you talk, like when a person hears, oh, you can do this, you can do that, like, it's too confusing. Tell them, no, it's just better not to do it.
Okay, so now she's right. Don't do anything with the opposite mean. Milchiks and milchiks, fleishiks and fleishiks, and everything. And have a part of a pot, and have a part of a knife, and have part of utensils. And when you want to do something, you have a svek you want to use with the opposite mean, then you should always use a part of it. But I'm only telling you, you should know the halacha, that don't take it right away, throw it out. Ask a shaila. A lot of times, it won't be an issue. That's only one. But you're right. Keep extra kitchens, a melechige kitchen, a fleishige kitchen, and if you have Baruch Hashem the place, put in a part of a kitchen with a part of a sink, because other than that, you have a lot of issues.
You don't have to have all three. You can be very careful and just.
Yeah, but it's much easier, much convenient when you have three.
There's really people who have three.
Yeah.
We had all the years three.
Wow.
All the years three.
Wow.
Love to have three.
Yeah,
The bathroom is
one day.
yeah.